Welcome to the Chevy pregame show on Fox. Chevy, an American revolution. The sky looks threatening, but nothing could be as ominous as potential elimination, especially for a team that measures itself by what it does in October. How about what the Yankee killer has done this fall, Kevin?
These catchers are tough, Jeannie. He's back in the lineup. Benji,
speak from what you know. He looks ready to go, and so does Houston. 18 innings. 18 innings.
Incredible.
They're on to the next round from 15 games out in May to the NLCS. They're back. It is astronomical as we welcome you inside the Fox Network Center. Jeannie's Alaska along with Kevin Kennedy. Get to the Bronx in a moment, but first, let's talk about what happened in Houston.
Well, you know, Brad Austin's hitting the game-tying home run with 2 outs in the ninth. He almost knew it was going to be the Astros game, but I got to give it to both clubs, playing tough in 18 innings, putting up zeros. The bullpens were great. It was going to come down to a game-winning home run, and Jason Lane got it.
All right, a change in the Bronx. Jared Washburn woke up this morning with a fever and a throat infection.
Really?
John Lackey going on short rest.
I don't think Mike Scioscia's too upset. This guy's done it before. He's got a 3.77 ERA on short days rest, 3 days rest, I should say. So, hey, John Lackey's the guy today. Why not? And Benjamin will be in the lineup, even though he got hit by Tommy Gordon. He has hit 3 home runs in his own right in this series.
5 RBIs, X-rays negative. He got that day rest because of the rain delay, so he's back in the lineup as mentioned. And look who's got the pressure.
Well, Sean Chacon has had a lot of rest. Speaking of that, 10 days in between starts for Sean Chacon. He was outstanding since he's come to New York. 7-3 with a 2.85 ERA. He doesn't look nervous to me, Jeannie. He knows what's at stake. This guy has never been through this before. He's pitched in Colorado. Now he's pitching in meaningful games. And I tell you, I talked to Sean earlier this summer. Once he came to New York, he said, hey, I got an all-star team behind me. I'm ready for this.
All right. We're going to LA
we're going
tomorrow?
back to Anaheim.
All right.
Guys are flying back and forth
LA
anyway.
of Anaheim. Hey, we need to get you out to the ball game. The Angels look to push the Yankees out of the postseason for the second time in 3 years. Tom Brenneman is at the stadium ready to call all the action.
It is a beautiful night in the Bronx, jam-packed in the Yankee Stadium for Game 4 of this American League Division Series. And the Los Angeles Angels trying to close out the Yankees. They lead this best-of-5, 2-1. Hi again, everybody. Alongside Tim McCarver, I'm Tom Brenneman. Welcome to playoff baseball here on Fox. A major change overnight. The scheduled starter for the Angels, Jared Washburn, has a throat infection. So who does Mike Scioscia hand the ball to on 3 days rest? Game 2 starter John Lackey.
Yeah, I mean, think about how unusual it is for a pitcher in any postseason to start games 2 and 4. But Angels manager Mike Scioscia telling us that he's the most adaptable starter the Angels have, and they're not concerned one bit about Lackey.
No change in plans, meanwhile, for the Yankees. It'll still be right-hander Sean Chacon, who makes his first postseason start here tonight. But of great concern right now for the Yankees, Timmy, their lack of offense.
Yeah, I think they have to be more aggressive on the bases because with the exception of a couple of big innings, they really haven't spread their scoring out. And they also have to get more production out of Alex Rodriguez and Gary Sheffield, who have only 1 RBI in these first 3 games.
And a combined 190 batting average between those two great sluggers. Guys that have been down this road before. The Yankees and the Angels. Game 4 of this American League Division Series. It's right around the corner. You're watching baseball on Fox. The Division Series on Fox is sponsored by Universal Pictures Doom in theaters October 21st. By Singular, raising the bar. By Visa, it's everywhere you want to be. And by Energizer. Keep going. Yankees have taken the field defensively, and let's take a look at Mike Scioscia's starting lineup for the American League's Western Division champion, Los Angeles Angels of Anaheim. Leading things off playing third base tonight, Sean Piggins. Orlando Cabrera, the shortstop. Vladimir Guerrero in right field. Garrett Anderson again in left. Benji Molina healthy enough to go, much better than he would have been yesterday. Darren Erstad over at first, a latter third of the former Yankee Juan Rivera. Steve Finley in center field, and Adam Kennedy, the second baseman. Starting it for the New York Yankees, we'll get to Sean Chacon in a moment. We remind you baseball fans, grab a cold, fresh Budweiser. It's game time. Chacon, 27 years old, from Greeley, Colorado. Came over, of course, from the Rockies and has paid huge dividends for the Yankees.
His debut for the Yankees against the Los Angeles Angels. He works the bottom of the strike zone, and when he's throwing well, he'll get a lot of ground balls. By the way, Tom, the condition of this field is just superb, and it's hard to believe after all of the rain that this city had over the the last couple of days, and to be in this good a shape is a credit to the grounds crew.
Biggins digs in, first pitch swinging, lifts a fly ball into left center field. Bubba Crosby getting the start out there tonight and runs it down, one away. A lot of talk, of course, here in New York about would Bernie Williams be in center, but it's Bubba Crosby.
Bubba Crosby covering much more ground than Bernie Williams, a contact pitcher. He's not a strikeout guy. We said he works the bottom of the strike zone, and he has very impressive off-speed stuff, similar to John Lackey of the Angels.
Now Orlando Cabrera. He celebrated a World Series championship last season, of course, with Boston, and it's in there as well. Cabrera just 3 hits and 13 at bats, but a couple of big RBIs. Fastball sails up and in. Cabrera has never had much success against the Yankees during the regular season, hitting less than 185 in 23 games. But in 10 postseason games against New York, a .333 hitter. Started 2. They appeal to first, and no, he did not go around, says Country Joe West.
A lot
2
of
balls
times,
and a strike.
A lot of times, Tom, when you sign a new player, you're really not sure where to hit him. And it took the Angels and Mike Scioscia about 4 months to decide to put Cabrera in that number 2 hole. That's his best spot.
Breaking ball caught the outside corner to even the count.
Good breaking ball from Chacon, a guy who will throw a breaking ball or off-speed stuff in fastball counts.
Taken off the outside corner, full count on Cabrera with Vladimir Guerrero due up. Payoff pitch to Orlando Cabrera is foul tipped into the middle Posada. And the first 2 gone in the Angels' opening inning.
Similar to that 2-2 pitch, a little closer to the plate.
State Farm covers the field defensively to see how the Yankees line up. Talked about Bubba Crosby getting the start in center field, flanked by Matsui and Sheffield. Rodriguez, Jeter, Cano, and Giambi third to first, the battery of Chacon and Posada. Guerrero fouling away the first pitch. He's down a strike. A very quiet American League Division Series for Vladimir Guerrero. Only 3 hits and 10 at bats. Without a home run, without a run batted in.
We talked about it in game 1 last Tuesday. The most notorious bad ball hitter maybe in the history of the game, certainly the history of the game in the last 50 years. I have never seen a more effective guy who hits the ball out of the strike zone than Vladimir Guerrero.
1-1 pitch. And right down the gut with a 91-mile-per-hour fastball, and Chacon ahead at 1-2.
Prior to Vladimir Guerrero, the best bad ball hitter probably was the guy in the ballpark tonight. He turned 80 earlier this year, Yogi Berra.
Roberto Clemente somewhere on that list, didn't he?
Yeah. Yep.
Try to get him to chase a breaking ball down and away. 2-2 on Vladimir Guerrero. Garrett Anderson would be next. Chacon trying to mow him down in order and get his team to the plate against John Lackey, working on 3 days rest, starting in place of Jared Washburn. Break-even pitch. Got him swinging, and that'll end the inning. First postseason start for Chacon. A very impressive first inning. He has his manager smiling early on tonight. The division series on Fox is sponsored by Bud Light. Smooth and refreshing Bud Light. Great taste for your great times. John Lackey, the Game 2 starter, and gets the ball in Game 4 just 3 days later.
Only the 8th time in Major League history in postseason play where a pitcher has started games 2 and 4. The last time it was done during the World Series in 1989 when Mike Moore of the Oakland Athletics started games 2 and 4. That game, of course, abbreviated or the hiatus because of the earthquake in San Francisco. Prior to that, 1931 was the last time that a pitcher started games 2 and 4 in postseason play.
Now Derek Jeter leading things off for the Yankees here in the opening inning of a scoreless game. 1 ball and 1 strike. Lackey had an outstanding year during the regular season. 14 and 5, a 3.44 ERA. Raced right by 200 innings. He has made remarkable steps to becoming a very good pitcher over the last 2 years. And he's ahead of Jeter at 1 ball and 2 strikes. Jeter, Alex Rodriguez, and Jason Giambi in the Yankee opening inning. Get a look at the last 11 postseason games for Derek Jeter, just a .224 batter. He has 4 hits and 13 at-bats, including a home run and 2 knocked in this division series. And a little number out in front of the plate. Lackey will get there. And the former high school All-State quarterback from Abilene throws him out 1 away. Take a look at the Yankees starting lineup under manager Joe Torre. Derek Jeter will be followed by A-Rod. And then Jason Giambi starts at first base. Gary Sheffield in right, Hideki Matsui in left, and Robinson Cano again in that 6 hole. Bernie Williams at DH, Jorge Posada catching, and Bubba Crosby in center field bats 9th.
To reiterate what we said during the opening, the Yankees are hopeful to get Alex Rodriguez and Gary Sheffield going. Only 1 RBI between the 2 of them in the first 3 games.
Jam shot fly ball in his short left field coming on Garrett Anderson, and there are 2 away. And now State Farm covers the field to see how the Angels line them up on defense. Garrett Anderson again in left field. All that controversy about the Cano base hit in the first inning of Game 1. But Mike Scioscia likes him out there. Steve Finley, a 4-time Gold Glove winner in center field. Vladimir Guerrero in right. Higgins, Cabrera, Kennedy, and Erstad third to first with a battery of Lackey and Molina. They have 4 Gold Glove winners on this team. Erstad has done it as an outfielder and now a first baseman. Jason Giambi honored before the game for winning the American League's Comeback Player of the Year. Ken Griffey Jr. won it over in the National League. And anyone who saw the Yankees the first month and a half would have bet the ranch Giambi would not be receiving the award before the game tonight.
The guy was batting 189 on May 9th with 3 home runs. Last 4.5 months with a flourish.
Only Alex Rodriguez and David Ortiz hit more home runs after the 4th of July in all of baseball this season than Giambi. He hit 27 of them. 2 balls and a strike.
Mike Krukow, an announcer for the San Francisco Giants, calls this defense the wishbone defense. He's the first guy that I've ever heard come up with that. And it is.
Well, they see that wishbone defense in San Francisco on a nightly basis when Mr.
Right.
Bonds is healthy.
That's right.
Giambi led the league in walks this season. Good hitters count. And there's ball 4. First base runner for either team. A 2-out pass to Giambi keeps the inning alive for Gary Sheffield. Bud Black, the pitching coach of the Angels, and manager Mike Scioscia did not seem to be concerned whatsoever about handing the ball to Lackey on 3 days rest.
And the reason for that, it was out of the question for them to consider Bartolo Colon. He headed to California last night when the game was called, and he will be the pitcher against Mike Mussina of the Yankees should this series go to 5 games. Both are in California watching the game tonight, I assume.
I would certainly hope so. Although very little surprises any of us anymore. There's ball 1 down low to Gary Sheffield. Saw his numbers in the series, just 2 of 12 with a run batted in. Many remember Lackey back in that magical run for the Angels in 2002. He became the first rookie pitcher to start and win a 7th game of the World Series since Pittsburgh's Babe Adams back in 1909. And you may remember, he pitched Game 7 on 3 days rest. Lackey said when he pitched that Game 7, he said he wasn't nervous at all. He said, to tell you the truth, there was far more pressure being a high school quarterback in East Texas growing up in front of 15 or 20,000 people. He said the town used to shut down. He said now that was pressure.
Sunday night lights tonight.
Indeed. Base line. Lackey the flip to Erstad, and that'll end the inning. Garrett Erstad will lead things off for the Angels, coming off a 5 RBI performance in Game 3. He got him off and running against Randy Johnson. Sean Chacon to begin the 2nd inning of a scoreless game, Game 4 of this American League Division Series. And the Angels trying to move on and meet the Chicago White Sox in the American League Championship Series. Of course, the Yankees are hoping to be playing tomorrow night in Anaheim. 2-0 to Garrett Anderson. He'll be followed by Benji Molina and then Darren Erstad. What a pickup Chacon became for the Yankees coming over from Colorado. A 7-3 record with New York. An earned run average at .28. With all the injuries they had to that starting rotation, he has been a godsend for the Yankees. They wouldn't be here without him. 2-1.
Yankees depending on Carl Pavano, Jarrett Wright, and Kevin Brown when the season started. But that trio, 16-18 on the year. And Chacon, along with Aaron Small and Ching-Ming Wong, 25-8. Talk about a reversal of fortunes for a roster that's paid a fortune.
And you're not lying about any of the above. The replacements have been pretty good. That ball hammered into right field, but foul. Had Anderson way out in front, and the count has gone full. With the Yankees, Chacon allowed 1 run or less in 6 of his 12 starts, 2 runs or fewer in 9 of the 12, and 3 runs or less in 10 of the 12. Lined into center field, it hangs up for Crosby. And a pleasure to have with us on the telecast tonight, Chris Myers. Let's check in downstairs.
Hey, Tom. Tim, a slight mist falling here. Rain not in the forecast until later tonight. And, Tim had mentioned 4 inches of rain falling in the Bronx over the course of the weekend. Joe Torre told me this field could handle twice that. But the slick grass, that's one of the reasons Crosby is in the outfield. In case the ball rose slowly, he can get to it faster. And Gary Sheffield told me, playing with that injured quad muscle, that first step for outfielders, it's still a little bit slick. They have to make that a careful step or they can fall down.
Now Benji Molina. He had to leave the game after getting hit in the 7th inning by Tom Gordon on his left elbow. There's a very bad bruise on that left elbow, but x-rays proved negative. And what a force he has been all season long for the Angels, and especially in this postseason. He's homered in each of the first 3 games.
Being hit by Aaron Small the other night on Friday night, a game won by the Yankees, by the Angels. Actually, Tom Gordon was the guy who plunked Benji Molina. Tom Gordon, a very hard thrower, right above the left elbow.
And you see he's wearing that protective device on that left elbow. They were fitting him with that in their clubhouse before the game. On the right side to Cano. And Chacon has set down the first 5 Angel hitters tonight. 2 away. Darren Erstad 5 of 13 in this division series with a double and a couple of runs batted in. You see his regular season numbers. A part of that Angels team that won it all back in 2002 in a thrilling 7-game series against the Giants. Upstairs, ball 1.
It is often said that hitters have to be patient with pitchers. Chacon is a pitcher that is patient with hitters. By that I mean he runs a lot of deep counts.
Erstad has had terrific success against Chacon. 5 at-bats against him, 3 hits. 2 of the 3 hits, home runs. And you see only Lou Brock with a higher batting average all time in the postseason than Darren Erstad. High strike, 1-2.
Letter high on the corner.
Yankee fans waterlogged through the entire weekend. And the 1-2 to Erstad. Check swing and went around. 3 strikeouts in the game for Chacon. He's perfect through 2. No score in New York. No score, bottom of the 2nd, game 4 of this American League Division Series. The Los Angeles Angels leading 2 games to 1. Hideki Matsui looks at a strike. 330 runs batted in Matsui's first 3 seasons in the major leagues with the Yankees. Only Joe D had more RBIs his first 3 years in pinstripes. The amazing thing about that number is DiMaggio over 3 years knocked in 100 more runs than Matsui.
Goodness.
Four of 11 with a home run in this series.
Or as Mae West would say, goodness had nothing to do with it.
1-1 to Matsui. And rolls it over foul. Matsui's had very good success against Lackey. 7 hits and 20 at bats with a home run and 7 runs batted in. And there's strike 3 called, and Matsui knew it. Caught the inside corner.
You rarely see a left-handed hitter whose knees buckle on a curveball from a right-handed pitcher. You'll see that a right-handed hitter from a right-hander, a left-handed from a left-hander. That's how good that curveball was from Lackey to Matsui.
Well, the Yankees have not enjoyed facing Lackey this season. In fact, Lackey is 2-0 with an ERA of right at 2.5 against New York this year. That does not include, of course, the Game 2 start of this postseason. Robinson Cano looks at a strike.
Here it is one more time. You rarely see this because left-handers have such a good look at the ball. They rarely will buckle on that curveball. That was a tightly wrapped, great curve from Lackey. You can see Bubba Crosby and Matsui talking about that pitch.
Fouled out of play, and just like that, Lackey ahead of Robinson Cano at no balls and 2 strikes. We're not going to talk about it long. When you get your knees buckled as a lefty from a righty, we'll talk about it briefly and move on.
Yeah, when you're a left-handed hitter like Bubba Crosby, he wants to know, though.
Bartolo Colon, of course, is going to get the most consideration of anyone on the Angels staff for a Cy Young Award. But unquestionably, Mike Scioscia will be the first to tell you, the Angels' best pitcher in the second half of the season was John Lackey. After the All-Star break, he made 15 starts, only lost 1 time, while winning 8. 1 ball and 2 strikes on Cano. A rough night here on Friday night for Randy Johnson, making his Yankee postseason debut. Pitched into the 4th inning. It did not go well. He told us before the ball game today he hopes he gets another shot in this series, which you don't figure will happen, although he could be available out of the bullpen, if not tonight, certainly for a Game 5. Joe Torre told us he does not want to risk the future health of any of his pitchers, starting pitchers, by bringing them back in relief.
And in batting practice, both Randy Johnson and Cheng-Ming Wong threw, and we don't know their status. But the fact that he's in the dugout, one would assume that he won't be ready for the bullpen until tomorrow night.
Strike 3 call to Cano. Back-to-back strikeouts for Lackey here in the Yankees' 2nd inning.
Well, the curveball to Matsui, and now the fastball to Cano.
Well, much like Paul O'Neill in Game 5 of the 2001 World Series, Yankee fans understanding the possibility that Bernie Williams, who has played close to 2,000 games in Yankee pinstripes, may be playing in Yankee Stadium for the final time here tonight should they lose. And what of a terrific player he has been.
For the last decade and a half. Man who exemplifies class and talent.
His 15th year, and look at some of the names, many of them household names. Yogi, Mickey, Lou. Yogi's here tonight, the Babe, among others. Timmy, I know you were here that night. I'll never forget this Yankee Stadium crowd chanting Paul O'Neill over and over and over again, when it looked like even on that night in Game 5 of the 01 World Series, the Yankee season wouldn't be much longer.
Until Scott Brocious tied the game with a 2-run home run for the 2nd night in a row.
Fly ball into left field, and Lackey a perfect second. We move to the 3rd. No score. Fans, we ask you to please join Major League Baseball in our efforts to rebuild the Gulf Coast. Support the Habitat for Humanity by calling 1-800-HABITAT, logging on to MLB.com or Habitat.org. Former Yankee Juan Rivera will be followed in the Angels' 3rd inning by Steve Finley and Adam Kennedy. First postseason start here tonight for Sean Chacon, and so far, so good. 6 up, 6 down. Strike 1 to Rivera. 5 hits and 11 at bats, including the home run. It got the Angels back in it in Game 2 of this series. Foul, 0-2.
Tom, an angelic home run down in Houston to end that marathon about an hour ago. What a game.
It says final. It should have 3 Fs because they played 18 innings. Down at Minute Maid Park today. Roger Clemens winning in relief, the longest extra inning game in postseason history at 5 hours and 50 minutes. With which featured a pair of grand slams. The first time that has ever occurred in a postseason game. The Astro bullpen going 13 and 2/3 innings in relief of Brandon Backey, allowing 1 run. Atlanta went 1 for 18 with runners in scoring position.
546 pitches thrown by both teams. Almost 275 apiece.
And our game summary brought to you by Verizon Wireless VCast. What a game. So the Astros and the Cardinals will meet for the 2nd straight year in the National League Championship Series, which will start in St. Louis on Wednesday night. And of course, don't turn the dial during the entire rest of the way in the postseason. Every game on Fox. 0-1 to Steve Finley. Ball and a strike blown away. Finley had the suicide squeeze in game 3. Has had his worst year in the major leagues. He's been playing with a very badly injured right shoulder that occurred when he crashed into the wall the first month of the season. He said yesterday he's gotten into so many bad habits. There's a fly ball off the end of the bat into short right center. Crosby's there. 2 up, 2 down, 8 up, 8 down for Sean Chacon.
When you're injured or you have something wrong with your shoulders, you do something you're really not capable of doing. You try to compensate for the injury, and that is what has happened. Not making any excuses for Steve, but that certainly has been a big part of his year.
Two down for Adam Kennedy. 300 batter during the regular season, a couple of home runs and 37 runs batted in. Breaking ball too low. Joe Torre told us before the ball game if there is a tip-off as to whether Chacon will more than likely have a good game. He said if he's throwing the breaking ball for strikes, and we've seen a lot of them, including that one right there.
I think he's similar again to John Lackey in that he's not afraid to fall behind. A lot of first pitch breaking balls. Even the count with 2 curveballs in a row. Another one. Actually, that was a changeup. So 2 curves and a changeup. Kennedy set up for a fastball inside. Check Posada out behind the plate.
The wine and the 2-2 to Kennedy. Bounces up there, 3 balls and 2 strikes. Figgins hoping for a chance on deck. The Angels looking for their first base runner against Chacon. And a payoff pitch to Kennedy. Fouled out of play. We'll do it again. Chacon back in 2003 won 11 games in the first half of the season and was a National League All-Star. But he suffered an elbow injury just before the break, really struggled, and finally shut down for the year in August. They made him a closer the following year. And Kennedy chases a fastball up and away to end the inning. 4 strikeouts for Chacon, who's not allowed a base runner through 3. John Lackey set to go last of the 3rd inning in a scoreless game of this game 4 of the American League Division Series. Posada, Crosby, and Jeter due up for New York. Breaking ball down and into Jorge Posada. 2 hits and 10 at-bats with a home run in this division series. Hit 19 home runs during the regular year. Good breaking ball that time, knee high. Tickles the outside corner, 1-1.
Boy, both pitchers have been masterly to this point. Blackie getting the 2 strikes on pitches away from hitters and finishing them up with pitches inside. Really moving the ball east and west.
And they got Posada to chase a fastball up.
Right, breaking ball away, fastball up and in.
Well, you can make a strong argument that Lackey's the best pitcher that you don't hear much about in the American League, at least in this season.
That's a valid point. I agree with that.
Posada this time will not chase a breaking ball down and in. 2-2 to Posada.
I think one of the reasons for that is the Angels perhaps have the best right-handed bullpen in the major leagues. And their bullpen is so strong you don't hear a lot about their starters. But this guy is a quality pitcher.
And that is a quality bullpen.
I'll say.
One thing Mike Scioscia told us during a lengthy gathering with him yesterday down in his office, talked about his bullpen, and he really felt the rain out last night helped that bullpen, which logged a pile of innings in Game 3 here on Friday night.
Talking with Mike and his lieutenant Joe Madden for about an hour.
That was a lot of fun yesterday.
It was great.
That is some kind of program these Angels have going, and that's what they call it, a program. They want guys who come in here, play the right way, know how to play winning baseball. And that is a tapper. Is that a foul ball? They're all looking around. The home plate umpire looked down to third, and the third base umpire, Gary Darling, said yes, foul ball. And Mike Scioscia wants to know, how in the world is Gary Darling making that call rather than Alfonso Marquez?
I think Gary Darling had the best shot of that ball. And if he called it immediately, he said, I called it. Mike Scioscia is saying that it did not hit the right foot of Posada. It certainly didn't on the first bounce.
And Posada didn't react as though it hit him in the foot.
Well, the home plate umpire can be blocked out of that, but what you tell on if the hitter makes a move toward first, it didn't hit him. If he doesn't move out of the box, it hit him.
That's what I mean. His first step was going up to first base.
That's exactly right. Watch Posada. Watch his first step. It doesn't hit him there. His first step is going to first, and then he thought, I'll do the Academy Award thing, and it worked. Gary Darling calling it immediately.
3-2 pitches, ball 4, second walk issued by Lackey tonight. The Yankees have their leadoff man aboard for the first time in the game tonight.
We talked about Lackey using the inside part. He does it to Jeter. He does it to Rodriguez. The curveball to Matsui. And then the fastball to get Cano. That 3-2 pitch could be a very important pitch. Gary Darling calling that a foul ball on Posada, and it did not appear to hit him. And a bunt situation right here with Bubba Crosby.
Crosby asked to bunt, pushes it up the third base line. A throw is just in time by Molina. And the sacrifice for Crosby as the Yankees play a little small ball early on tonight in this scoreless game.
Talk about a textbook maneuver. Watch how Molina goes toward third and pivots on his right foot to get Crosby. The reason you do that is you have more on the throw. He barehands it, pivots on his right foot to get Bubba Crosby.
First runner in scoring position for either team in the game tonight. The leadoff walk to Posada. They bunt him to second base, and now Derek Jeter. He hit that roller back to Lackey in the Yankee first inning.
At Yankee Stadium, Derek Jeter predominantly goes to right field. I'm a little surprised that the Angels have left center field open, because if the center fielder is going to move toward right center, you have to bring the left fielder with you and give Derek Jeter the left field line, not left center. Because against right-handed pitching, there are very few times that Derek Jeter will pull the ball down the left field line. He's more apt to hit the ball in the left center.
Generally, it's the Angels we're talking about playing the small ball. The Yankees generally like to flex their muscles. Scored the second most runs in the American League. Get the second most home runs in all the major leagues, second only to the Texas Rangers. And Jeter quickly behind 0-2. The Yankees have struggled mightily in this series with runners in scoring position. Only 6 hits in 26 at-bats, and only 3 hits in their last 19 at-bats. The Angels have hit nearly 400 in such situations in this series. Blackie wanted the call, didn't get it. Fastball just low.
That's probably the biggest reason, Tom, that the Angels are up 2-1. Fastball missing to Derek Jeter. If Blackie tries to come inside to Jeter, if he gets the ball down, he can pull it. If he gets it around the hands or around the letters, you can jam him.
Goes up the ladder with that fastball, and he tied him up. A swing and a miss, and gone is Jeter. Third strikeout for John Lackey.
Look at Molina setting up inside, right on the hands to get Derek Jeter.
Not one Yankee has struggled more in the postseason with runners in scoring position than Alex Rodriguez since coming to the Bronx. In his postseason career, with runners in scoring position, 4 hits in 22 at-bats. He has never had a base hit with runners in scoring position and 2 men out. And he's down a strike. Rodriguez with runners in scoring position and 2 outs in his postseason career, 0 for 12. Only 3 players have had more hitless at-bats in such situations. One of them, ironically enough, is on the Yankee bench, Joe Girardi.
Adam Kennedy at second base, needlessly worrying about Posada. Posada is not a fast base runner nor a good base runner. I think Kennedy can be about 5 steps over to his left because Rodriguez does use the hole on the right side. He can hit the ball through the right side very effectively.
So you're a little surprised by this defense?
Yeah. I mean, you don't have to worry about Posada running. He's going nowhere. The one thing that Kennedy's probably trying to do is to keep him close to perhaps give his outfielders a chance to get him should Alex Rodriguez hit the ball hard. But when you think about that, again, the percentages aren't with it because with Rodriguez, the outfielders have to play deeply.
That goes flying into the stands up the third base line, well beyond the Angels' third base dugout. And hopefully everybody's all right.
That is the fastest cell phone use that I've seen in a ballpark all year. The bat flying over there, and that young lady is immediately on the cell phone. Honey, you're not going to believe what happened. You're not going to believe it. Alex Rodriguez, she may be talking to her lawyer.
Well, thank God everybody's all right. You're able to laugh about it when it turns out A-OK.
Right.
And they send her a bat from A-Rod, or the gentleman behind her a bat. They're going to send her a very large phone bill at the end of the month. Fastball up, and A-Rod lays off of it. 3 strikeouts in a game for Lackey, a pair of walks. Neither team with a base hit. We're in the bottom of the third.
With 2 strikes, Lackey has pitched Jeter inside. He's pitched Rodriguez inside. That's where American League pitchers try to go to finish off Rodriguez. I've got to believe he wants to go back in there.
But you better get in there.
That's right. You miss out over the plate.
In the dirt, gets away from Molina. That'll be a wild pitch on Lackey, allowing Posada to advance 90 feet.
They go to the breaking ball away. Molina blocking it, but the ball trickles off to the right, allowing Posada to go to third.
Lackey walking far beyond the pitching mound, rubbing up the baseball, gathering his thoughts for this 2-2 pitch upcoming to Alex Rodriguez.
If Molina leans to his left, it's going to be a fastball. Looks like another breaking ball.
And it's strike 3 called to end the inning. Back-to-back strikeouts of Jeter and A-Rod with a runner in scoring position. The Division Series on Fox, sponsored by VCast from Verizon Wireless, is broadband quality video on your phone by State Farm. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there. By Radio Shack and by Chevy. Chevy and baseball, they just go together. An American Revolution. No score, top of the 4th inning at Yankee Stadium, Game 4 of this American League Division Series. And Sean Chacon perfect through the first 3. Sean Figgins looks at a first pitch breaking ball, and there's strike 1. Back-to-back breaking balls, too low.
Sometimes it's not how many you get on, it's who you get on. Sean Figgins, perhaps the most disruptive force as a leadoff batter on either side.
Well, 62 stolen bases will do that to you.
Led the majors in steals.
And there you see a very quiet postseason for Figgins. It's hard to believe with those numbers in this postseason, the Angels lead 2-1. And he traditionally has worn out the Yankees. 2 balls and 2 strikes. What a delightful kid he is.
Oh, he really is. Fastball, brushing Figgins back, skipping rope on the inside heater.
2-2 pitch. Out away. Chacon generally did not do a very good job when facing the leadoff batter in innings he pitched this season. In fact, he had the 2nd highest on-base percentage allowed to the leadoff man among all major league pitchers this year. That one slapped into left field, and Hideki Matsui can't handle it. Tried to make the basket catch on that sinking liner, and it hit him in the belly.
Matsui has been a victim of plays like this. Maybe that's not the proper terminology. Victimized himself on plays like this. It looked like he may have lost the ball in the lights. I don't think he ever saw that ball. That's a routine play, an error on Matsui. I mean, that's not a ball that you would normally try to basket catch.
And that's already the 6th there in 3 games and 3+ innings of this series for the Yankees. 3 of them came in Game 2 when they allowed the Angels not only to get back in it, but to eventually take the lead and win the game.
What Mike Scioscia is trying to think of right now is choosing a pitch that Orlando Cabrera can hit on the ground. So many things you can do. You can straight steal with Figgins. Posada, the Yankee catcher, with a great arm. I think they would opt for a hit and run right here.
It's interesting to know that Chacon made his first Yankee start on the 31st of July against the Angels. He allowed 3 stolen bases in 3 attempts in that game. He did not allow another stolen base his final 13 games with the Yankees.
That's remarkable.
They had Figgins leaning, and he just got back.
Had him on his right foot. Right foot right there, the dive back. And a high tag by Giambi. Had he come right down on the arm, there's a chance to get him. But the swipe is high. I think he missed him, too. I got him!
Fox sounds of the game. You heard Giambi. Got it. Country Joe West disagreed. There goes a runner. Breaking ball taken high. Throw to second base in the dirt. And able to get it and swipe the tag is Cano. Angels only 1 of 4 in stolen base attempts in this series.
Robinson Cano makes this play happen. The throw is to the third base side. And watch the tag. Even though Figgins looked like he was in there. It was a quick tag, but it looked like the right foot of Figgins was in there. But because his tag was so quick, it appeared that he was out, and the Yankees get the call.
1-1 on Cabrera. Bases wiped clean. Well, you really take that play by Cano for granted. Timmy, you know better than anybody. I mean, when that ball is away from you, you're backhanding it, it's in the dirt. Generally, you come up with a glove, kept it down, and was able to put the tag. Late, albeit, but he's called out. Check swing roller down to third. A-Rod throws out Cabrera, 2 away.
The first thing about that tag is he's positioned, he's straddling the bag. You see a lot of middle infielders, shortstop, second baseman, in front of the bag, and they bring the ball back. When you straddle the bag, you have a chance to make a play like that. It looked like Figgins was in there, but the Yankees got the call on the quick tag from Cano. One more angle.
Well, the running game's such a huge part of this Angels offense. They led the major leagues in stolen bases with 161, but we mentioned only 1 stolen base in this series in 4 tries. And the 1 stolen base from their biggest slugger, Vladimir Guerrero. Chase that breaking ball in the dirt, 1 ball and 1 strike.
He will chase, but he can hit that pitch too. Rex Hudler, the announcer for the Los Angeles Angels, says that his strike zone's from his nose to his toes. I like that.
That breaking ball hung up there a little bit. Guerrero far in front of it. 1-2. What a very impressive postseason debut it's been thus far for Sean Chacon.
I'll say.
He's not allowed a base hit. Dumped into short right. What a pickup by Cano. The spin, the throw, and just late. Great effort by Cano, but that's the first Angels hit of the game.
But again, the reach of Vladimir Guerrero. Terrific play by Cano. But too much to do. Look at this pitch. This pitch is 6 inches outside off the end of the bat by Guerrero. Is that a swing of last year's MVP? Yes, it is.
Well, Timmy, I sing the song every day with my daughter. Head, shoulders, knees, and toes.
Head, shoulders, knees, and toes, knees and toes. Head, shoulders, knees, and toes, knees and toes.
Can't forget the eyes and ears and mouth and nose.
Head, shoulders, knees, and toes.
Oh, that's great.
Performed by the Wiggles, if I'm not mistaken. And all the parents out there know the Wiggles. That one in the dirt, throw down to second. Guerrero a late break, and he is gone at second base.
What a play by Posada in recovering. You go with your Guerrero. Just a terrific play by Jorge Posada. He finds it and a rocket to second.
Vladimir Guerrero late getting started. After that pitch in the dirt, but nothing slow about Posada. Jumped all over it and fired a P down to Derek Jeter, which ended the inning.
Tom, what makes that play so good was all the traffic around Posada. You've got a left-handed hitter up there. You've got an umpire who doesn't know where the ball is. The reactions of Posada with the ball right below him, he doesn't know where the ball is. And to recover that quickly and shed the other two guys, the left-handed hitting Anderson and the home plate umpire, Alfonso Marquez, that's why that play was so impressive.
Jason Giambi to lead things off against John Lackey in the Yankees' fourth inning of a scoreless game. Defensive shift put on, breaking ball too low.
Here it is, ball in the dirt. Watch Gary Anderson. He's going to lean forward. The umpire doesn't know where the ball is. Posada with the pirouette and now has to throw over Anderson to get Guerrero. That was a sensational play by Jorge Posada.
Certainly that's been one of the more overlooked players defensively in this series, in an otherwise bad defensive series thus far for the Yankees. Posada understood the challenge against this running Angels team, and he's been more than up to that challenge so far.
As you said, 4 of 5 caught stealing, and then even though that last one with Guerrero wasn't a caught stealing, it was a very, very fine play.
Strike call to Giambi. He thought it was ball 4. He walked his first time up. Lucky pitching very carefully to Jason, who has 11 hits and 23 at bats, including 2 home runs against the Angels right-handed. Breaking ball is outside. Well, for those of you just joining us, the last 2 postseasons, the Yankees have been eliminated at home by the Marlins in the 03 World Series, the Red Sox last year in Game 7 of the LCS. Last time the Yankees had a 3-game losing streak, guess who was in town? We talked about the Angels running game. It has been completely nullified thus far in this series, yet they lead this series 2-1. First pitch swinging, Sheffield breaks his bat and pops it up to Kennedy. Well, should the Yankees win this Game 4, Game 5 tomorrow, our Subway pitching matchup, Mike Mussina stayed in Southern California even after the second game of the series, rather than coming all the way back and then a necessary trip should it be all the way back. Bartolo Colon left here yesterday. Will be on the air right here on Fox at 8 p.m. Eastern Time, 5 p.m. Pacific, if necessary.
Joe Torre saying that they didn't even think about it till Mike Mussina was asked by Mel Stottlemyre if he wanted to stay out there after Game 2. His luggage was already on the bus to the charter plane. They went to the airport. He got his luggage off and stayed in Southern California.
And Joe made the comment, you only do that with a responsible man.
Right. Kept his bullpen catcher with him.
And then, of course, you guys went into war stories about maybe not so responsible mates through the years.
Well, Bob Buell was one that comes to mind. The Milwaukee Braves sent him ahead of the team. He ended up arriving after the team did.
Bjerstad steps on the bag, tag play at second, double play will end the inning. No score at the end of 4. We're back to New York after a break from your local Fox station. Game 4 dominated by the starting pitchers, Sean Chacon of the Yankees, John Lackey of the Angels. No score as we open the 5th inning. Garrett Anderson, Benji Molina, and Darren Erstad coming up for the Angels. Chacon has only allowed 1 hit. That was an infield hit. And a lazy fly ball Matsui's way to begin this inning, 1 away. Sean Chacon, born in Anchorage, Alaska, grew up in Greeley, Colorado. Childhood idol Darryl Strawberry, the former Mets and Yankee slugger. Not a bad favorite movie, Braveheart.
Yep. Mel Gibson.
Samuel L. Jackson is his favorite actor, and Timmy, one of your favorites, Outkast, his favorite band. You and I both looked at one another when we were looking at some of that before the game, and I said, Timmy, you listen to much Outkast? He said, probably about as much as you.
Outcast with a K. Not being familiar with that group,
Yeah.
I would not imagine that they sing that many standards.
I think not.
One and one to Benji Molina. And a check swing. Did he go around? No, says Joe West.
Fastball misses away, and it was close, but it appeared that he held up. Tell you, Sean Chacon, anything but an outcast with the Yankees the last 2.5 months.
Breaking ball a little bit high. You have to bear in mind as well that Chacon has not made a start since September the 28th in Baltimore, that final week of the regular season. Came back 5 days later, and in the final day of the regular season, pitched out of the bullpen at Fenway Park in Boston, allowed a run. But generally, the first thing to go when a guy's had that much time between starts, his command. Chacon's command has been sensational, including that breaking ball.
What's unusual about that is he's not a hard thrower. He's a guy who relies on finesse and not power. With a power guy, you don't worry about how long he's laid off.
Fourth full count tonight for Chacon. It'll stay full, still 3-2 on Molina. Timmy, you've been hit on the elbow many, many times in your career. You harken back. How painful is it? How much is it limiting Molina in the game tonight?
Well, I don't think it's limiting him from swinging, but I think catching, and that's what Mike Scioscia brought up. Even to the point where you're giving a target. You give a high target, for instance. He appears all right now, but swinging, not a problem. It doesn't appear. It would be more of a problem from a swinging standpoint if it was his right arm, because it would have to take extension, even though he grimaced on that swing.
He has homered in each of the first 3 games of this series. Bounced to second his only time up tonight. And again, a 3-2 pitch. Popped up left side of the Yankee infield for Jeter. Away for more on Benji Molina. Let's check in once again with Chris Myers.
Tim and Tom, I actually talked to Benji Molina at batting practice, and he did say the elbow is bothering him when he tries to extend on a swing. They did give him a 30-minute treatment of a hot, cold, hot kind of therapy, and they've been checking it in between innings here in the dugout. It's not bothering him catching behind the plate, but he said the more the game goes on, he is in some pain. And he said the more he has to extend that swing, the more it could bother him at the plate.
Chris, thank you very much. Breaking ball in there, strike one to Darren Erstad. I understand, Timmy, you were hit exactly 30 times with a pitch in your career. Any of them on the elbow?
Yes. I was hit from, what's that deal about Vladimir, from his nose to his toes?
Right.
Same thing.
On the ground to Jeter. And how about Sean Chacon in his postseason debut in the Bronx? His team facing elimination. A one-hitter through 5. We begin the bottom half of the 5th inning in the Bronx. Still no score in this game 4 of the American League Division Series. Fouled away by Robinson Cano. And Timmy, I think it's safe to say that neither one of us surprised that this has turned into a pitcher's duel.
I'll tell you, neither pitcher has allowed the hitters to find the fat part of the bat. And Gene Mauch, the great manager, the late great Gene Mauch, used to say that is a pitcher and catcher's main responsibility. Keep the ball off the fat part of the bat, and both pitchers have done that exactly tonight.
Chacon has only allowed 1 infield hit. Lackey has not allowed a single hit to this Yankee lineup. Lackey has walked 3 and fanned 4. His 58th pitch of the night. Swung on and missed. 1-2 on Robinson Cano.
We're halfway through the game, and not one ball has been hit hard by either side. Not one.
Cano struck out looking against Lackey his first time up. Shattered bat, roller foul. The head of that bat almost all the way to second base.
Fastball inside. Kindling.
And it won't be long in this part of the country before you need it.
That's right. Stoke the fires with bats like that.
Let's get
sound.
Sawed off. Sounded like an aluminum bat.
It did.
Yeah. Barely making contact, Cano. Still 1 ball and 2 strikes. Robinson to be followed by Bernie Williams and Jorge Posada in the Yankee 5th inning. Joe Torre said before the ball game today that he would, without question, use Mariano Rivera if necessary for 2 innings tonight. He's done it many times in the past during the postseason. It's interesting to note that Rivera's highest ERA against any team in Major League Baseball during his Hall of Fame career against the Los Angeles Angels.
They've given him problems, yes.
And Lackey giving everybody problems tonight. Moments ago, we caught up with the Yankee skipper, Joe Torre.
Joe, what a job Sean Chacon has done thus far.
No question, Timmy. He's, you know, the thing about it, he hasn't pitched in 10 or 11 days or whatever it is, but, you know, he's changing speeds. You know, even when you make a bad pitch every once in a while, because you change speeds so often, it just keeps the hitter out on his front foot.
And it's really remarkable because he's such a finesse pitcher, laying off that long.
Yeah, it reminds me of Duque back in '98 when he hadn't pitched in about 14 days or something and come up big against Cleveland.
You've also seen John Lackey mighty good in the past, and again tonight, Joe, he looks sharp.
He's their money guy. I think he's, you know, he knows how to pitch big games. If I'm not mistaken, he was on the mound for Game 7 when they won the World Series. He's, you know, he changes speeds. He does different things. Has great movement on his ball, and you know, neither club has really mounted any kind of an attack yet, and you know, to be honest with you, I hope we do.
Joe, thanks for the time.
Okay.
What a job Joe Torre has done. For those of us that live outside New York, and perhaps many of you that live inside this metropolitan area understand it, I certainly don't. However, there could ever be any question about Joe Torre returning as manager of the New York Yankees next year. I don't care what they do in this postseason. Is lunacy. Pure and simple. The numbers speak for themselves.
I think that's the right word. Lunacy. To even consider it.
You like those numbers a little bit, just in the postseason? I understand there's a division series and an LCS now. Has gone swinging is Bernie Williams. Boy, Lackey with just a devastating curveball thus far in the game tonight. That's his 6th strikeout.
I think it's his best curveball, and his second best curveball was the curve that he got Alex Rodriguez out with. But it's so tightly wrapped, like a gyroscope when it comes to home plate. And again, Joe Torre's words, nobody's mounted an attack. To reiterate, nobody's hit a ball hard yet on either side.
Only 1 hit from either team, an infield hit by Guerrero. In the air, left center field, on the run is Finley, and he will not get to it. Up against the wall. And a 2-out double to left center field by Posada, the first Yankee hit against Lackey tonight.
And the first ball hit well by either side. Posada went up looking for the fastball. He got it and hammers it to left center over the head of Steve Finley.
Now Benji Molina going to come out and visit with Lackey. It's interesting to note, by the way, having just given up his first hit, although he wasn't perfect through the first 4 2/3. Today is the anniversary of Don Larsen's perfect game, the only one thrown in World Series history.
Well, half of that battery is here in the ballpark, Yogi Berra. Benji Molina probably out talking to John Lackey and telling John, look, forget that first base open, pitch to Bubba Crosby like there was no one on. Go after him. There is not a thought of pitching around him in this situation.
Breaking ball in the outside corner. So one day after the anniversary of the Larsen perfect game, which came against the Dodgers in Game 5 at Yankee Stadium in 1956. Larsen, the MVP of that World Series, a roller that Lackey will get to. Crosby's out, and that will end the inning. One hit, one left. We've played 5 in the Bronx. No score. The division series on Fox is sponsored by Chevy. Chevy and baseball, they just go together. An American Revolution. Sellout crowd, Game 4 at Yankee Stadium in the Bronx. This American League Division Series, the Angels leading 2-1. Trying to advance tonight. They just as soon fly to Chicago tomorrow, where the American League Championship Series will begin on Tuesday night. Sean Chacon, 68 pitches. John Lackey's thrown 69. So they're dead even on the opening pitch here in the 6th inning. And an identical strikes and balls for both Chacon and Lackey. 43 strikes, 26 balls.
Even though there is a difference in the style of both pitchers. Lackey much more aggressive in the strike zone than Chacon. As we said earlier, Chacon is not afraid to fall behind in the count. He's behind Rivera right here.
Latter third in the batting order. Rivera waits. He's got a breaking ball, sweeps away from him. 3 balls and no strikes. He flied to right field his first time up. He'll be followed by Finley and Kennedy. Four-pitch walk. We caught up with pitching coach Bud Black in between innings.
As a pitching coach, you have got to be delighted to watch a game and to see how few balls are hit on the sweet spot by either team.
Timmy, this is a well-pitched game. You know, in a playoff game, it's awesome. Chacon's doing a great job, and John is matching him. It's obviously a hostile environment here in Yankee Stadium, and John is matching him pitch for pitch.
Obviously, you love what you're seeing from your pitcher, John Lackey, buddy. Did you expect this kind of performance from him, however, through the front 5?
Well, there's been some big games this year for us along the way, and John has always seemed to rise to the occasion. So, no, we expected it, John. We felt good about him on 3 days rest. We felt he was the guy. I talked to him last night and again today, and he was anxious to get the ball. So it doesn't surprise me. He's been a guy for us for the last few years.
But with 3 days rest, how much farther are you going to go with him?
Well, we're going to continue to watch his stuff. His stuff's holding up fine. His pitch counts in a nice range. We're going to continue with him as long as he keeps getting results, but his stuff looks good.
Buddy, thanks for the time.
Okay, guys.
Meanwhile, Steve Finley drops down his 3rd sacrifice already in this series, advancing Juan Rivera into scoring position. It's the first time the Angels have had a runner at second base in the game tonight.
That is why you bunt the ball to first base, because you can see the first baseman holding the runner on. And the little looped bunt toward first, Giambi can't get to it, forced to play it on one hop, and the sack successful.
This is where the Angels thrive, with runners in scoring position. They led the major leagues as a team, batting .296. And so far in this division series, they're batting .379. Bouncing ball up the middle. Cano to his right. Quick throw in time on the stretch by Giambi. And Rivera advances on to third. 2 away in the inning, and Figgins coming up.
Robinson Cano has a very strong arm, but he elects to get in front of this and off of his back foot throws out Adam Kennedy. Yankee fans are familiar to seeing Cano go to his right, backhanding that ball, and with that strong arm, almost like a shortstop's arm, throwing across his body. He elected not to do that then.
Timmy, it's certainly worth noting the Angels have the best bullpen in perhaps all of Major League Baseball, certainly the American League. What an early lead, or now we're getting into the middle part of the game, approaching the latter part of the game. What a big difference it would make if they could get this run, the first run of the game. Their bullpen has been lights out so far in this series, not the story for the Yankees.
It's always tougher to pitch to a guy like Sean Figgins with a runner on at third base and 2 outs. The reason for that, he can get the infield hit, and the infield hit would score Rivera in this particular instance. A guy with speed with a runner on at third, very difficult. It changes the situation.
Breaking ball to Mees on the outside corner. 1 ball and 1 strike to Figgins.
Again, a breaking ball and a fastball count.
Chacon works out of the regular windup with a runner at third and 2 men out in the 6th. And it's outside, 2 balls and a strike to Figgins, who's been very quiet in this series. But his lone RBI was a big one. It gave the Angels the lead in Game 3. Hammered down the right field line, fair ball, and the Angels are on the board. Figgins on his way to second with a 2-out run scoring double, and the Angels on a 1-0 lead in the 6th inning. That is the Angels' MO since Mike Scioscia took over. Get them on, get them over, get them in.
Steve Finley has 3 sacrifices, as you said, in this series. All have been important. 1 a squeeze. So the bunt to get Rivera to second, moved to third on an out. And Sean Figgins with a huge RBI double to put the Angels on the board.
Now Orlando Cabrera shoots one into right center field. This will bring in another run. Over to cut it off is Crosby. Throw coming into second base. Back-to-back 2-out doubles from Figgins and Cabrera. It is 2-0 Angels. Figgins and Cabrera have hit the mute button here at Yankee Stadium in the 6th inning.
Looked like a high slider hammered to right center. Perhaps the worst pitch made by Chacon in this ball game. Real hanger right there. Good play by Bubba Crosby. Figgins walking home. You know, Tom, there are a lot of statistics that are used in baseball, and we announcers are accused often of being blind to those statistics. But your point about runners in scoring position is right on the money. This club, one of the better teams, not only the better teams, the #1 team in baseball with runners in scoring position, and it's come to the fore once again tonight.
Runner at second, 2-0 Angels, and now Vladimir Guerrero makes a breaking ball in the outside corner. The Angels, like the so-called money ball teams that are out there, by and large just disregard that statistic. They don't worry about all the numbers, especially on base percentage. Mike Scioscia told us yesterday, yeah, you'd love every guy on your team to have a high on base percentage. He said, but our game plan is when we do get them on, you get them in. Talked about their very aggressive base running. Of course, the Oakland Athletics and their general manager, Billy Beane, much was made about the Moneyball book that came out last summer. A lot of people accuse Billy Beane of writing that book. He did not write that book.
No. Michael Lewis did.
But he gave us a number yesterday about the Angels going first to third in comparison, for example, with the Oakland A's last year.
3 times as many as the A's did last year. 3 times as many. That is huge over a season. tonight, the first time the Angels had a chance with runners in scoring position, they played it 2 for 2.
It all started with a leadoff walk, a 4-pitch walk, the first of the game by Chacon to Juan Rivera. A bunt by Finley got him over. A ground ball moved into third off the bat of Kennedy. And now back-to-back doubles from Thiggins and Cabrera. Struck out Guerrero on a high fastball. But 2 runs in the Angels' 6th. John Lackey now with a 2-0 lead in the Bronx. John Lackey staked to a 2-0 lead as we begin the bottom half of the 6th inning. Yankees with a top of the order coming up. First pitch swinging sharply right at Cabrera. 1 pitch and 1 out for Lackey. Like to remind you, Monday, October the 24th, this season's Can't Miss breakout hit returns with an all-new episode, Prison Break. Escape is only the beginning. Monday, October the 24th, right here on Fox. Viewer discretion is advised. The New York Yankees had the second-best team batting average in the American League during the regular year. Scored the 2nd most runs, second only to Boston, and second only to the Texas Rangers in home runs. But that was the regular season. On Alex Rodriguez.
I'll tell you what's impressive, Tom, is the rhythm and the cadence between Molina and John Lackey. Molina, one of the best in the business at calling a game.
Threw a fastball right by him on a 2-0 pitch.
Such a vital area. A lot of people don't pay as much attention to it. They look at a catcher's throwing arm, how he blocks balls in the dirt. But that subtle mental part, how you handle your pitching staff, so vital. And he is one of the best.
2-1 delivery. It's down low, 3 balls and a strike. You can't say enough about this performance by the Angels right-hander John Lackey. He's allowed 1 hit, pitching on 3 days rest. It was on 3 days rest we talked about earlier when he started and won Game 7 of the 2002 World Series, and now that vaunted Angels bullpen gets started for the first time tonight. Right-hander Scott Shields.
Looked like a cut fastball to Rodriguez. Remember, Alex struck out on a curveball his last time up and was jammed with the fastball his first time up.
.75 pitches in the game for Lackey. 3-2 on Rodriguez is ball 4. So the tying run will come to the plate, and we're getting into the muscle of this Yankee lineup. Giambi, then Sheffield, Matsui would follow.
You can imagine what Mike Scioscia and Bud Black are talking about down there. A guy like Scott Shields has an overpowering fastball. And Jason Giambi is the type hitter now at this point in his career where he can catch up to a slider or a curveball, the 90-mile-an-hour fastball, but not the 94 or 5-mile-an-hour fastball. Short porch in right field.
Broken bat roller. Lackey has it go by him. Barehanding is Kennedy, who gets the out of Giambi. Advancing on the second, Rodriguez, 2 away in the inning.
Yet another splintered bat by the Yankees. The curveball Lackey diving for the ball, but because Adam Kennedy was playing so deep, he reacted very well. Keep in mind that he started off playing shallow right field. This bat not only splinters in two, but it splinters. Fine reaction by Kennedy, and the bat went to where he was.
Now Gary Sheffield hit 34 home runs during the regular season. Without a home run in this division series and just 1 run batted in. Hammered into left field, a base hit. They're going to wave around Rodriguez. Throw comes in, offline. 2-1 game.
When it throws that far offline, you wonder whether the first or third baseman don't cut a ball off and come home. This ball's up the first base line. And Sean Figgins had a chance to cut it off and throw home. But you can't hear the verbal sign from the catcher. See, that ball's up the first base line. If Figgins makes the play, it did hit the cutoff man, but it was tailing toward first base. If he catches the ball, throws home, there's a chance they get Rodriguez.
The night is over for John Lackey. What a sensational effort. Now can the Angels bullpen take care of business? John Lackey working on 3 days rest off his Game 2 start. Allows only 2 hits and 1 run. Pitching into the 6th inning. And now Mike Scioscia hands it over to his bullpen. Hard throwing right-hander Scott Shields, 30-year-old from Fort Lauderdale, pitching in his 4th game of this series. 4 1/3 innings, has allowed 2 hits, no runs, 5 strikeouts.
The one area that Shields wants to stay away from with Matsui is that ball down and in. That's his home run ball.
And they're setting up down and in.
That was the curveball. This is one area right here that you want to stay away from. We'll do it again. Right there. Matsui cannot turn on the high fastball, but you get that ball in that spot, that's his home run ball, particularly in this ballpark.
Matsui 2 of 9 in his career against Shields. Very odd defensive alignment along the infield for the Angels. Boy, they are spread out.
Gaps between short and third and first and second.
On the outside corner, a called strike. 1-1 to Hideki Matsui. Now Leiter, the left-hander. Tom Gordon, the right-hander, cranking it up in the Yankee bullpen. Talked about all the struggles for Alex Rodriguez with runners on base in his postseason career. Matsui has been money. With runners on base, a .359 hitter in the postseason.
Tell you, that last pitch was some low propane from Shields. Woo.
For Sheffield, dealing with the leg injury late in this season, he stole 10 bases out of 12 attempts during the regular year. But I think it would be a shock to everybody in the ballpark if he's running.
I think you're right.
He almost looked like he was leaning a little bit right there at first base.
I think Scott Shields is stepping off a couple of times, as he's done, on reputation, without knowing full well what kind of condition his leg's in.
One and two to Matsui. 95-mile-per-hour fastball misses down and away.
Hear about running situations with Cano on deck. This is really not a running situation because it's 2-2 with 2 outs. If the next pitch is a ball, he's running anyway. That's why you don't run on 2-2 with 2 outs.
So with that in mind, you figure this is the action pitch in this at bat. On the ground, and Erstad, who smothers it, goes to the bag, and that'll end the inning. But the Yankees get an RBI single by from Sheffield. 2-1 game. We're back to the Bronx after a break from your local Fox station. 2-1 ball game. Angels lead in this game 4 of the American League Division Series, and that's the lead for the Angels in this series. 2-1. .82 pitches in the game for Chacon. What a terrific outing by Lackey. And Buddy Black unquestionably saying to him down there right now, big fella, that is some kind of effort. Again.
Tenacity shown by both pitchers tonight. We have said it through 6 innings. They have just been brilliant. Lackey for the Angels and still Chacon for the Yankees.
Now the Yankees have Al Leiter and Tom Gordon ready in their bullpen. But Chacon takes the ball to begin the 7th against Garrett Anderson. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Garrett is lined to center and fly to left 0 for 2. He'll be followed by Benji Molina and then Darren Erstad.
I think he wants a fastball. He's thrown a lot of breaking balls. A lot of times when pitchers shake that much, they're probably shaking for location. You could see Posada. Nope, breaking ball.
And had Anderson off balance. He pops it up into foul territory. And Giambi there to get it. 1 away.
Let's go back to that Gary Sheffield hit in the bottom of the 6th inning. Only on a ball hit this hard are you going to have a chance to get Alex Rodriguez because he's so fast. But Sean Figgins on the throw from Garrett Anderson, if he cuts the ball off right here and throws home, that's the only chance to get Rodriguez. But he allows it to go through, it carries up the line, and Rodriguez is allowed to score. It's an unusual play. It's not done that often, but it's a very effective play.
And an effective piece of hitting from a nicked up Benji Molina, his first hit in 3 at-bats tonight. Well, he's aboard with 1 out here in the 7th inning. And Darren Erstad coming up. Well, here comes Joe Torre, much to the chagrin of this sellout crowd in the Bronx. He wants a veteran left-hander Al Leiter to face a left-handed batting Darren Erstad. But for his first career postseason start, his team facing elimination. Well done, Sean Chacon. Sean Chacon in his postseason debut appreciates a standing ovation as they appreciate his efforts in this game 4 start tonight. He leaves with 1 on and 1 out in the 7th inning, having surrendered just 4 hits, 2 runs, and of course Molina his responsibility at first base. But now to be Al Leiter on out of the Yankee bullpen to face Darren Erstad. Huge hole on the right side with Giambi holding Molina on at first.
I think the Yankees are doing that because it's very difficult to pull Al Leiter if you're a left-handed batter. He throws that cut fastball that's away, and he throws very hard and heavy. That pitch right there allows the defense on the right side to play the way they're playing. Because in all probability, if he throws the fastball, the ball's going to be put in play on the left side of the infield.
Leiter has appeared in every game of this division series. In his 3 innings, has allowed 2 hits, 3 runs, including the home run to Molina. There's that breaking ball, a big swing and a miss by Erstad. One pitch. Again, the breaking ball swung on and missed. 1-2.
Sometimes when a pitcher is throwing to a catcher where you don't set a hitter up, what he's done to get to 2 strikes has proven that you go to the well one more time. No sense in showing him a fastball. He's looked so bad on the breaking ball. It's what you throw here.
Set up away, go the breaking ball away, and this time Erstad lets it go by. Well, with that in mind, if you're a batter, you don't see as much of it these days as maybe Timmy in years gone by. But if you're Erstad, do you cheat up on the plate a little bit?
It's very difficult to do with 2 strikes. Now all of a sudden you're opening up yourself inside for a guy who throws very hard. What you do is you think outside. You may not move it, but you think away.
Roller by the mound, should be 2. Jeter, Cano, and that's a double play. 1-run game. They stand and stretch in the Bronx. The Division Series on Fox, sponsored by Sprint. Sprint, yes you can. By Charles Schwab, get premium service without the premium price. Talk to Chuck. By Duracell, trusted everywhere. And by Nissan, who reminds you to shift the way you move through the world. Take a look at our Nissan game summary. This game 4 of this American League Division Series, dominated by pitching. The 2 teams have combined for 3 runs on just 6 base hits. Sean Figgins and Orlando Cabrera back-to-back run-scoring doubles in the Angels' 6th inning. And Sheffield, a 2-out run-scoring single against John Lackey in the bottom of the inning. And of course, the last time the Yankees were eliminated in a division series against these Angels in their 2002 run.
Great job by Al Leiter, who enticed the double play ball from Darren Erstad. He has faced Erstad twice in this series, in game 1 and tonight. And he's recorded 4 outs in the process, 1 double play. And while he was on the mound in game 1, Guerrero was caught stealing. So a very effective outing, 2 outings for Al Leiter against Darren Erstad.
Mariano Rivera getting loose in the bullpen.
Not a surprise.
With the Yankees playing on their home turf, I mean, you have to shut down the Angels in the 8th and the 9th. Goes without saying.
And Tommy, as you said earlier, Joe Torre telling us before the game that easily he will go with Rivera.
Going to be a tough play and a dangerous throw with no chance to get the runner by Cabrera. And a nice play by Erstad to keep it in front of him. But Cano, an infield single, represents a tying run to begin the 7th.
When a left-handed batter gets a fastball away, he gets a better jump to first base. That was a fastball away, and Cano actually hit it as he was running to first. That's why he beat the play.
Now Bernie Williams. Bernie is fly to left and struck out. Do you consider asking Bernie Williams to bunt in this situation?
No.
Why?
Because he can't.
That's a good reason.
Yeah, the crowd on their feet. They don't want to see Bernie bunt right now.
I knew the answer to that question. They let him swing away, and he pops it up short center. This could be a tough play. Finley with a beat on it. One away in the inning. Not much reaction from the crowd. You know, they know that this could be the final game for Bernie Williams in pinstripes at Yankee Stadium. For more on that, let's check in with Chris Myers.
That time I talked to Bernie before the game, and he said he wasn't sentimental about that possibility because he is hoping for a Game 5 in this series. You know, said he joked, plays the guitar to relax, and he says, I'm playing the guitar better than I'm hitting these days. But he did say, I was always able to enjoy myself during my career because I tell myself in the end, and even tonight, no matter what happens, it's still only a game.
Chris, thank you very much. Now Jorge Posada. Breaking ball from Shields is outside. Well, one thing we know, Timmy, and you've seen him play a lot more than I have, in a day and age where we read sometimes many negative things about many professional athletes, what a savvy, classy man Bernie Williams has been and unquestionably will be long after his playing days are over.
You're exactly right.
Tying run at first, one away in the seventh. 1-1. Ruben Sierra has moved into the on-deck circle. The Angels have activity, meanwhile, in their bullpen. Kelvin Escobar, former starter in the Angels rotation, pitching out of the bullpen in this postseason. Threw a fastball right by Posada.
Good tailing fastball to Jorge Posada.
Not only the velocity at 93, but Shields perhaps more movement with his stuff than any reliever in the league.
Movement on the corner. You could see it clearly with that last fastball. 38th round draft choice.
Mike Scioscia made the argument to us in his office before the ball game that was rained down last night. You know, you go through about 4 or 5 closers around baseball, Mariano Rivera being one of them, his own closer being another. He said, I'm not sure there are more than 4 or 5 guys that are closing games around baseball that have better stuff than this guy.
And yet here he is in middle relief. But he was the stopper earlier when Francisco Rodriguez was on the disabled list.
2-2 to Posada. Just off the outside corner. Do you start the runner? 3-2, 1 out.
I don't think there's any question about it. Even though Posada strikes out a lot, Molina has a strong arm, but it's up to Posada to make contact, preferably on the ground. You're the runner on at first. You cannot be picked off in this situation. But this is a running count.
Angels leading 2-1 in this division series and a 2-1 lead here in the 7th inning in Game 4.
Shields trying to get Cano leaning.
Yeah, sometimes you hear people say looking for a cheap out. There ain't nothing cheap about the out at first if you can get it right now.
That's right.
3-2, there goes a runner, and it's ball 4 high. Bud Black coming to visit Shields on the mound. We remind you, the American League Championship Series begins on Fox Tuesday night, and it begins in the Windy City. The winner of this series against Ozzie Guillen's Chicago White Sox. What a marvelous year they had. Everybody talking about a would-be collapse in September, the great run by the Indians. But the White Sox have proven to everybody the final weekend of the regular season and the 3-game division series against Boston, they're showing why they came just short of 100 wins all the year.
Sweeping the threatening Indians and then sweeping the Red Sox. You got an interesting situation developing from a defensive standpoint, but if you're the Yankees, you can't worry about defense now, as you had a look at Kelvin Escobar warming for the Angels. With Sierra in the game now, remember Bernie Williams is the designated hitter. So Sierra will probably have to enter the game defensively, and Matsui will probably be the center fielder. But the one thing Joe Torre is not worried about right now is defense, because you got to tie him first. Worry about defense later.
Ruben Sierra spent most of the second half on the disabled list with a strained left hamstring. He was back for the entire month of September. And in 65 at-bats since coming back, he only has 9 base hits. Two on, 1 out, 1-run game. And a fastball sails high and outside. Cano runs very well at second base. Posada does not run well at first, nor does Sierra at the plate. Sierra 1 of 3 in his career against Shields. 2-0.
Again, the ball down in the strike zone is a ball that Sierra can yank here at the stadium. Short porch in right field. He will leave his feet on a fastball inside right now.
And he got a fastball and took a big hack and was tardy.
That's an idea of how hard Shields is throwing. When a major league hitter can look for a fastball, get it, and on a 2-0 count still fouls it back the other way, you know he's throwing hard.
Sierra only bounced into 2 double plays during the regular season. Both of them came as a left-handed batter. Two on, 1 out, 2-1 pitch. Into right field, base hit. They're going to wave around Cano. Here comes a throw from Guerrero. Not in time. Tie game.
Excellent base running, not by Cano, but by Jorge Posada. To go to third, draw the throw that was never there. Guerrero, one of the great arms in the game, missing Cano, but Posada now at third with less than 2 outs.
And if you're the Yankees, who would you rather have at the plate right now with a runner at third and less than 2 men out than Jeter?
No one.
2-2 game. Fastball runs inside. Jeter tonight is bounced to the mound, struck out, and grounded to short. For this Angels bullpen, which has been sensational the entire year and the entire series, gives up a 1-run lead here in the Yankees 7th. Fastball ran in and dumped foul and out of play, first base side. A ball and a strike to Jeter. Kevin Craig, Kelvin Escobar. Striking it up in the Angels bullpen. Posada the lead run at third. Ruben Sierra on over at first. 1-1 to Jeter. Fouled away, and he hammered that one off his foot.
I believe it was his left ankle. He wears that half shin guard. The left instep, perhaps. Remarkable how players can wear that half shin guard and hit a ball off something that's not protected.
His father just books a trip to the Bronx every October. One and two to Derek Jeter. Too low.
For the most part, you can rule out a breaking ball if you're Derek Jeter. He's going to get the fastball from Scott Shields. And if Shields is beaten here, or if Jeter drives in the go-ahead run, he wants it to be on his best stuff. And his best stuff is his fastball.
2-2 pitch, Sierra going. And a bounce to third. Figgins will throw to the plate. It's in the dirt. Safe. Molina is livid with home plate umpire Alfonso Marquez. Figgins throws short hop Molina, who somehow, some way got a glove on it. Went to make the tag late. The call at home.
I mean, how Molina even came up with this ball. Figgins was handcuffed on the play. A late jump by Posada. But he did the right play. It was a breaking ball, by the way. And watch how Figgins is handcuffed. And now the throw is low, and in between Hop and Molina thought he made the tag before Posada touched home, but he didn't. He was safe.
Had the ball in his bare right hand. The glove may have hit him before he hit the plate, but the ball was in his hand.
Right.
That's all for Shields. RBI by Jeter gives the Yankees their first lead of the night.
This is a sensational attempt by Molina. The throw is horrible. And in between hop by Figgins. And Molina tries to get it in his bare hand. And Tom, you're exactly right. He comes across and tags with the mitt, and the hand follows, tagging the back leg, but the right foot was on home plate as the Yankees take the lead for the first time tonight. Jeter realizing that there are more important things going on behind him than in front of him.
So a pitching change made by Mike Scioscia. Shields just 2/3 of an inning. Allows 2 hits, a walk so far, a couple of runs in this Yankee 7th. And now Kelvin Escobar, who has been sensational working out of the bullpen both in the regular season and the postseason. Tony Womack comes on the run now for Ruben Sierra at second base. And Alex Rodriguez coming up.
And Womack will stay in the game and probably go into left field as Matsui goes to center. So the Yankees will be weak defensively, but they're thinking, who cares? We took the lead.
And you know Mariano Rivera is coming in the 8th.
Right.
Now Rodriguez. Looks at ball 1.
Hey, from a New York Yankees standpoint, if Rodriguez pops one, that lengthens the game. They could sit Rivera down, perhaps think about using him in the 9th, and saving him for tomorrow night for 2 innings.
Want to know the count on Rodriguez, and it's too low from Escobar. Escobar underwent elbow surgery back in June this year. Was in their rotation when the season began. And Rivera continues to crank it up. Two-0 pitch to A-Rod. Get off the end of the bat, foul. Giambi would be next. Yankees have scored twice here in the bottom of the 7th inning against Shields to take this 1-run lead. A-Rod looks for his first RBI in this postseason.
That was a fake break by Womack at second base. He got Derek Jeter, and it's a bad thing to do if you're on at second base and you've got a hitter like Alex Rodriguez up there. It can only distract you.
So just drop back.
Absolutely. Let him hit. Drop anchor. Yeah, drop anchor.
Three-one on A-Rod, and Escobar delivers. And it's ball 4 low. Threw him a 3-1 breaking ball. And they are loaded for Giambi. Still only 1 out in the inning. Well, it was earlier this season, back in July, that this Angels bullpen melted down late in the Bronx. First time in club history the Angels lost consecutive games with a 4-run or more lead from the 8th inning on. I mean, generally they get a 1-run, 2-run, 3-run lead in the 7th. You can forget about it.
It's all
Not
over
tonight. Bases loaded, 1 away. Giambi waits. First pitch swinging, fouled off. Well, we've already seen a pair of grand slams in postseason play today. Adam LaRoche for the Atlanta Braves against Brandon Backey. And then a dramatic grand slam late by Lance Berkman off Kyle Farnsworth. That 18-inning marathon in Houston won by the Astros today. Game 5, if necessary, tomorrow night from Angel Stadium in Anaheim, right here on Fox. Mike Messina against Bartolo Colon, 8 Eastern, 5 Pacific, but a long way to go here tonight. 0-1. Pulled the string on it. 0-2.
That's that splitter from Escobar. His is different from a lot of guys in that it goes away from a left-handed batter. Not only down, but away. 2 for the price of 1. Almost like he's dropping anchor.
0-2. Struck him out again on the same pitch. And Jason going to drop anchor in the dugout. 2 away in the inning.
Boy, that is a wicked splitter right there. Normally out of the strike zone, but again, going not only down, but away.
Gary Sheffield in his postseason career. The first 6 innings of games, batting average barely over 200. From the 7th inning on, in Sheffield's postseason career. The batting average, .320. They're loaded in the 7th with 2 out. Oh.
Thou shalt not be cheated. And he wasn't. Looked like another splitter from Escobar.
Womack, Jeter, A-Rod aboard with 2 away. A ball and a strike on Gary Sheffield. The inning began with an infield hit by Cano. 1 out later, a walk to Posada. Ruben Sierra pinch hit, tied the game with a single to right. Posada advancing on to third, then a fielder's choice gave the Yankees a lead. Pulled foul and out of play into the upper deck. 1-2 on Sheffield. What's Molina have to say, you think, right now, Timmy?
I think they're talking about pitch selection. You've got a fastball hitter up. That's the ball that he hit off John Lackey into left field the last time. There is not a fastball that Gary Sheffield can't get around on. And he may have been telling him, look, if you're going to throw the splitter, don't worry about it being in the dirt. I'll suck it up.
1-2 to Sheffield. In the air, straight away center field. It was a splitter. And Finley's there to retire the side. The Yankees scored twice. Take a 3-2 lead. Now time for our Sprint game break. Here's Jeannie Zelasco in the Fox Network Center.
Yes, indeed, the Sprint game break brought to you by Sprint. Something Yankee fans can relate to. The rocket to the rescue. Roger Clemens came out of the bullpen, and Chris Burke ended the longest postseason game in baseball history with a home run in the 18th inning. Houston's headed to another NLCS showdown with the Cardinals. It's the waiting game for the White Sox. Will it be the Yankees or Angels? If necessary, Game 5 can be found tomorrow night on Fox, 8 Eastern, 5 Pacific. For more information on this Sprint game break, log on to foxsports.com, keyword poll.
How about the move made by manager Joe Torre here? No. Not that he's bringing Mariano Rivera in the game, but the fact that by moving Bernie Williams into center field, he has lost his designated hitter spot.
That's right, and Tino Martinez will be batting 9th, bottom of the order, and Mariano Rivera enters the game as a hitter. He'll bat 3rd. We're pretty sure that is the rotation.
We are waiting confirmation from the official score here as to the 3 moves that have been made. There's ball 1 up and in to Juan Rivera. So we understand Mariano Rivera is in the number 3 spot in the Yankee batting order, and there you see it. On the outside corner. There you see Tino Martinez. He is now in the 9 hole. They've used Ruben Sierra, who tied the game with a pinch hit single. Womack ran for him. So they're both through for the night. Fouled out of play by Juan Rivera, who is fly to right, walked, and scored. Mariano Rivera, without question, the greatest postseason closer in the history of baseball. We talked about the problems that Rivera has had in his career against the Angels. Fastball up. Even in saving game 1 of this series, Rivera did give up a run to the Angels, and his career ERA against them is almost a run higher than what he has posted against the next highest club. The only team in baseball Rivera has an ERA of over 4 against the Angels. Of course, that taking place last season, where Rivera was brought on for more than just the standard 1-inning save. Games 4 and 5 against Boston in last year's League Championship Series. On the ground, right side, Cano gobbles it up, 1 away. Well, when this day began, the Angels found out that their scheduled starter for Game 4, Jared Washburn, had come down with a throat infection. Very sick, very high temperature. In fact, he's not even at Yankee Stadium tonight. So they handed the ball on 3 days rest to John Lackey. He pitches into the 6th inning, gives up 2 hits, 1 run. Sean Chacon, making his postseason debut, pitches into the 7th, allows 2 runs. And then this vaunted Angels bullpen has allowed that 2-1 lead to slip away. Yankees in front by a run here in the 8th, and Finley the batter. Finley is fly to center and put down a sacrifice, which led to the first of the 2 Angel runs back in that 6th inning against Chacon.
There are a lot of moves in baseball where you can go one way or the other, a lot of formulas. There's only one clear thing to do, and Joe Torre knows that, and that's to put Rivera into the game. Regardless of any statistical information available about Rivera and the Angels, he's the only guy you turn to right now.
One of only 3 relievers ever to be named the World Series most valuable player. 33 postseason saves, far and away the most all time. 1-2 pitch to Finley. There's a fastball high, 2-2. Three balls, 2 strikes to Finley. Payoff pitch to Finley. Strike 3 called on the outside corner. Well, this week in Major League,
left-handed hitters are so conscious of the pitch inside, they take a pitch they normally would hammer.
And talking about Major League history, October 9th, 1916, Game 2. Babe Ruth, as a pitcher, gave up an inside-the-park home run. The only homer off Ruth all season long. He'd go on to pitch 29 and 2/3 scoreless World Series innings. For more information, log on to foxsports.com on MSN. Adam Kennedy with 2 down and nobody on, down a strike.
In those days, if there were home runs to be hit, he usually hit them.
Didn't give them up.
No.
About Mariano Rivera's spot in the batting order, hitting in the 3-hole. It should be noted that if his spot comes up in the batting order, the Yankees at worst will have scored a run, 2 more runs, I beg your pardon, and have the bases loaded with 2 men out. That's a pretty good scenario.
Again, so conscious of the pitch inside that you take a pitch that you would normally hit hard, just missing outside. That's a decoy up and in, low and away. Just misses.
Just missed again. Full count if you're Kennedy. He's gone back-to-back fastballs on the outside corner. What are you looking for here, 3-2?
You just look for a fastball. You don't know where it's going to be.
Yep.
You hope it's down. If it's down, you have a chance.
One hopper backhanded by Rodriguez. And a 1-2-3 eighth inning for Mariano Rivera, who has 11 two-plus inning saves in the postseason in his career. They need 3 more outs to send it to Game 5 in Anaheim tomorrow night. The Division Series on Fox is sponsored by the new Dell Plasma TV. It's no ordinary TV, it's a Dell. By Taco Bell, think outside the bun. And by Chevy. Chevy and baseball, they just go together. An American Revolution. 56,226 in the Bronx. Game 4 of this American League Division Series. The Yankees score once in the 6th, twice in the 7th off Scott Shields. And on a 3-2 lead as they bat for what they hope will be the final time tonight. Hideki Matsui to lead things off against Escobar, who came on in relief of Shields in the 7th. Walked Alex Rodriguez, but then got a strikeout of Jason Giampi and left him loaded when Sheffield flied out to Finley in center. Matsui 0 for 3.
You've got Rivera with that fastball, that cut fastball, and Escobar with that splitter. Goes straight down, most effective when it's out of the strike zone. When it looks like a strike, but isn't. I think Joe Torre was talking to Bernie Williams about going up to get his glove. Bernie Williams, the last thought in his mind before the game started tonight, being the designated hitter, is that he would have to play center field in the latter part of the game.
Popped up to Erstad, and Matsui set down to begin the bottom of the 8th inning. Our defining moment of the game brought to you by Dell. 2-2 game in the 7th inning. Posada at third, Jeter at the plate.
Terrific play by Benji Molina, did everything he could. Posada with that awkward slide, looked like he caught his left foot in the ground. The right foot came tumbling over. Molina thought he made the play, but as the replay showed, he was just late. And as you pointed out, the tag with the glove, the ball followed, and Posada was safe.
Cano started the 2-run 7th inning rally with a little roller to the left side that he legged out for an infield hit. If you're looking ahead of the Angels' 9th inning, it'll be the top of the order. Figgins, Cabrera, and Guerrero against Mariano Rivera.
Saw that little wink by Robinson Cano. There's an article in the New York Times the other day about how his father, Jose, who pitched briefly with the Houston Astros back in the late 80s, used to take him to the diamonds around, in and around the Dominican Republic, and how he was never, ever afraid. 10 years old. And that has persisted, and that's one of the big reasons that he may be the American League Rookie of the Year, and probably will be.
Well, not every player can walk on the big stage for the first time in their career and not have a hiccup or two in the postseason. Derek Jeter would certainly be the counter argument to that thesis. But Cano has done some sensational things in this series and some less than sensational things in this series.
Yeah, Tom, I think those players that grow up in the Dominican Republic, there's not a cockiness about it, but there's a self-assured attitude that when they get to this level, they're fearless. They're comfortable. And Cano is certainly an example of that. Derek Jeter, of course, growing up in Kalamazoo, Michigan, born in New Jersey, growing up in Kalamazoo. And that's not to say that the American players are unlike that.
Well, you talk about comfortable, Timmy. I mean, it's not an exaggeration. Comfortable for a guy like Cano and many from the Dominican Republic. They play baseball at the major league level, or the minor league level for that matter, in the United States. They have electricity and running water.
That's right. That's right.
And there's ball 4 to Cano. Well, we talked about Cano. He's been right in the heart of a little bit of everything in his series. Game 1, the first inning, 3-run double over the head of Garrett Anderson to get the Yankees off and running. Game 2, the error, dropping the feed from Jeter. In that same game, he had a run-scoring double the other way. That great backhanded stop to begin the double play in Game 3. And then an error later in that game. Came off the bag too early on that force out at second base. But here he is tonight, on base for the second time, and started the 2-run rally in the 7th inning with an infield hit. Well, the Yankee faithful get at least one more look at Bernie Williams. Fastball. Caught the inside corner, though Molina was set up away. 0-1. Center field. Finley is there for the second out of the inning. And another standing ovation for Bernie Williams in the Bronx. Soft-spoken, quiet, shy at times. Very introspective young man is Bernie Williams. And you can hear the crowd still chanting his name. Plays in baseball's biggest city, but in many ways has remained in his own private world throughout his 15 years in New York.
Think about it from a crowd standpoint. They really don't have to use his last name. There's no other Bernie in uniform.
No.
Instead of Bernie Williams, could be just Bernie, but it's kind of melodic, that Bernie Williams.
And that's the cadence of that cheer.
Right, right.
It's beautiful. That one in the dirt will allow Cano to advance on to second. He's making a hard turn, and he'll stop right there.
I'd walk Posada right now. You got Tino Martinez on deck. Not only is he not swinging the bat very well, but he's just in the game. And I think that's what Mike Scioscia is thinking about right now. The splitter gets away from Molina. Counts 2 balls and no strikes, and here comes Bud Black. I think he's going to ask Escobar what he wants to do. I'd put him on. Tino Martinez in his prime, you wouldn't even think of doing this. But he's not in his prime. Plus, it's his first at bat coming up.
Brett continues to throw in the Angels bullpen. Talk about a rock and a hard place if you're Mike Scioscia. Granted, you have 2 outs in the inning, and he told us before the game he wasn't going to worry about tomorrow night if he could put it away tonight. But if Escobar struggles at all the remainder of this inning, how much will he have in the tank tomorrow? Not nearly as resilient with all the arm troubles, including the surgery he had this year, say a guy like Shields. They're going to pitch to him.
That was with the splitter. Now think about this. Posada's a catcher. He knows in situations like this what he would call for. So there's no way that he'll get a fastball to hit unless they get to 2 strikes with the splitter.
And 1 to Jorge Posada. Cano, the runner at second with 2 away in the 8th. Strike called on the outside corner. Posada thought it was too far away.
So he's thrown Posada 5 straight splitters. Now if you throw a fastball, there's no way Posada looks for it. So he could go one way or the other.
Ball 4 came back with a splitter again. Tino hitless in 7 at-bats in the series. 241 during the regular year, 17 home runs. 10 of those came in that red-hot stretch that he had back in May. 2 on, 2 out. And again, it gets away from Molina. Cano advancing on to third. And Posada to second base. Second wild pitch in the inning by Escobar.
Not only did it squirt through the legs of Benji Molina, I think it hit the left foot of the home plate umpire. Yep, it hit the left foot and caromed off toward the Yankee dugout. Cano had an idea about scoring on that ball, and that's what happens if the ball doesn't go straight back. As you saw, it hit that umpire's hard shoe, squirted off toward the Yankee dugout. Cano with an idea about coming home, but elects not to.
Those are 2 big tack-on runs at second and third for the Yankees in the 8th. And a good rip there by Martinez at a 94-mile-per-hour fastball. 1 ball and 1 strike. Again, the Angels at top of the order coming up in the 9th inning against Rivera.
Okay, it takes a lot of courage to call for a splitter in this situation. You've had 2 wild pitches in this inning. Escobar in the dirt with a couple of them. We'll see how they work.
Popped up on the splitter, short center field. Cabrera backpedals, and that'll end the inning. So we go to the ninth. Game 4 of this American League Division Series. 2 up for the Angels. Figgins, Cabrera, and Guerrero against Rivera, trying to send it to Anaheim tomorrow night. Game 4 of this American League Division Series. We've arrived in the top of the 9th inning. 3-2 Yankees in front. 3 runs, 4 hits, 1 error, 9 men left on base for the Yankees. The Angels 2 runs, 4 hits, no errors. They have left 1 man on base. Rivera came on and pitched a perfect 8th inning. Top of the order for the Angels here in the 9th. And Sean Figgins looks at a strike.
The Los Angeles Angels have had only 5 base runners all night.
Figgins, a run-scoring double, later scored himself when the Angels scored their only 2 runs in the game in that 6th inning. Now Leiter in line for the win. It would be just his 2nd win in the postseason of his career. The other, game 1 of the '93 World Series, pitching for Toronto. He beat Curt Schilling. Oh, 2. Backs him off the plate.
Matsui, the left fielder of the Yankees, playing very shallow, as he should. If Rivera breaks Figgins' bat, it's not going to travel far the other way.
Come on, Figgins!
Martinez hugging that line over at first base. A-Rod only about 3 steps off the line at third. And the 2-2 coming to Figgins. Look, foul. Two again. And muscle fouling out of play. A fastball up and in on Figgins to stay alive. Again, a 2-2 coming to Figgins. Strike 3 call.
Again, so conscious of the ball inside, you take a pitch you would normally hit hard.
Told you, Mariano Rivera, 20 saves in his career of 2 or more innings. 11 of the 20 have come in the postseason. Now Orlando Cabrera. Fastball taken high. Very good numbers for Cabrera in his career against Mariano. Swung on and fouled back out of play. Anybody that's hitting over about $110 against Rivera's living right.
And for those of you folks who may not understand how he does it, I mean, he is a marvel at his craft. He throws a 1-speed pitch for power. However, there is deception in the last 10 feet. It's a cut fastball. Goes away from the right-handed batter and in on the left-hander, and they just cannot pick it up. Nobody can.
One out, nobody on, top of the ninth inning. 1-run game. Right back to Rivera. Lance throws to Tino Martinez. And now the Angels down to their final out in game 4. But if they had to pick one man to send up there to the plate down a run, it's Vladimir Guerrero, and he's coming up.
Thing that makes Guerrero so dangerous, he has power the other way. And Rivera, in throwing that cutter to the outside part of the plate, he's vulnerable to right-handed batters hitting the ball the other way. There is no part in the park that Guerrero can't hit a ball out of.
Big swing and a miss. Guerrero trying to knot it up with one mighty rip of the bat. Guerrero 1 of 3 in his career against Mariano Rivera without a home run. Strike 2 called, and Vladdy disagreed. So now Rivera tries to put it on ice and board up the plane for Anaheim. Fouled out of play, first base side. That's what you're talking about, Timmy. He didn't get it all, but it doesn't take much down that right field line, even if you're tardy on a fastball.
How about Posada's target? Look at this. Around his cap. Never seen a higher target than the one just given.
0-2. Just off the outside corner. (3-2) Yankees lead, top of the ninth inning. Nobody on, 2 men out. Rivera against Vladimir Guerrero. Fastball up and in. Foul. Posada going to make sure. A very shrewd move there by Posada. That ball had a lot of English on it, and if that thing starts to make the left turn, pick it up, game over.
That ball would have had to go around the block to be fair.
You're right, but he didn't.
That's right.
He didn't take it for granted.
You're Rivera. You don't throw Guerrero a strike. Nowhere near the strike zone.
On the ground, a Cano, and we are on our way to Anaheim. The Yankees will send it to a decisive game 5 tomorrow night at Angel Stadium in Anaheim. Sean Chacon, 6 1/3 innings in his postseason debut, allowed 4 hits, 2 runs. Al Leiter got a big double play to end the 7th inning. And he's a winning pitcher. And Rivera 6 up, 6 down to nail it down. Our Chevrolet player of the game, Jorge Posada, threw out a pair of runners at second base in the game tonight. In fact, they both came in the same inning back in the 4th. And then the slide beating the throw and the tag of Molina, it proved to be the winning run. We take a peek, and Timmy, you'll be with Joe Buck tomorrow night in Anaheim. Mike Messina against Bartolo Colon, the same matchup we saw in Game 1. Talk about that in a moment. Let's send it downstairs, meanwhile, to Chris Myers.
Thanks, Tom. With Gary Sheffield and Jorge Posada, who scored the winning run, threw out a couple of base runners. This was a real emotional, kind of clawing out kind of game for you guys.
What a pretty nice game to watch. It was the whole game was a grinder, and we did a lot of things well today. I think Chacon deserves a lot of credit to keep us close in the game. He was mixing his pitches real well.
How about that winning run? Obviously, you went on the pitch. You were safe according to the replay. Did you think you were in?
Yeah, I thought so. I thought my lead foot was in there.
And the matchup, it'll be a rematch of Game 1 with Colon against Messina. What kind of game do you expect?
Well, hopefully we can get a lot more runs than we did today, so we can relax a little bit and play a good game.
All right, thanks, Jorge. I appreciate it. With Gary Sheffield, who drove in the first run for the Yankees. Gary, this was a survival game for a veteran team that knew what they had to do.
Yeah, no matter how you win, it's about winning the game, and we did that. We gave ourselves a good chance now, and it's even up, and going out there, and we played well last time. We just have to play the same way.
How about Sean Chacon's pitching performance?
He stepped up big for us. We're not surprised what he's done. He's been doing it over and over, and the playoff it don't rattle him at all.
All right, and you're confident about facing Colon?
Well, he's one of the best in the game, like we said last time, but you got to find a way to get runs early and often.
All right, thanks, Gary. We'll see you tomorrow night. Okay, on Fox in Anaheim. Tom?
Chris, thank you, the coordinating producer of MLB on Fox. And tonight's game is Pete Macheska. Our director tonight, Bill Webb. The associate director, Aaron Stoikov. And our broadcast associate, Kevin Dresser. Our technical producer, Dave Hill. The senior producer of Fox Sports is Bill Brown. The executive producers, David Hill and Ed Gorin. Game 5 tomorrow night here on Fox. For Tim McCarver, Chris Myers, and our entire crew. And boy, have they worked hard already in this postseason. I'm Tom Brenneman saying thanks so much for joining us. Jeannie and Kevin will be along from the Fox Television Center after these messages. See you tomorrow.